What's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. This is Adventures in Theme Parking. I am your host, Jake Peffer, and I'm joined by my co-host slash sister.
Christina Cunningham.
And today is going to be our first ride review, and we are talking about Universal Islands of Adventure's VelociCoaster. It's their most recent ride that they put in. It opened on June 10th, 2021. It's a steel launch coaster manufactured by Intamin Amusement Rides, and it has a top speed of 70 miles per hour. And it is a fantastic ride, I gotta say. We had the opportunity of going to Universal and Islands of Adventure this past week. It was my first chance and opportunity to get to ride VelociCoaster. But Christina, you've had the chance to ride it a couple times. That's right.
Yeah, since because I've kind of gone like a handful of times over the past year or so, and I think I've ridden it like at least 5 or 6 times at this point. I usually try to get at least one ride in whenever I go.
Yeah, and it's definitely well worth it. Thankfully, we had the express pass when we went, and it didn't take too long. It took a little longer than I would have thought, but thankfully, the ride has a pretty cool waiting line. The queue is set up very nicely. And I got to say, Islands of Adventure this past week when we went was the first time I'd been there in about 7 years. So there was definitely some new stuff for me to try out, and I'm glad I had the opportunity to try this one out. But Islands of Adventure as a whole just seems to be kind of killing it lately. You had this, and then the newest ride before this was Hagrid's Magical Creature Bike Ride, whatever the full title of that is. But that's two not only great roller coasters in a row, but just two amazing rides back to back. So hopefully on the Universal Studios side, maybe they're going to get something to kind of compete, because it feels like a lot of people are probably going over toward Islands of Adventure more so right now than to Universal. But, I digress. But yeah, I mean, what is there to really say about this ride that's not anything other than calling it amazing? Because this is not only probably one of the best roller coasters in the Universal Resort, but probably one of the best roller coasters in Florida in general. This thing is just absolutely crazy. The speed that it gets up to, just some of the moments in the ride. I don't know if you can see on my little background here, but this moment right here is one of the craziest moments, because you get launched into this thing and it is insane. What I don't know, is there anything specific that you like about the ride, Christina?
Um, you were just mentioning like the launch that kind of gets you up to like the big hill right there. Like it's definitely like one of my like favorite moments ever from like a ride, just because it's like I guess it's just like the intensity of like, I guess like the full speed of the ride, and then going all the way up into like that, big ass hill basically. It's definitely one of my favorite parts. And I know I love the setup of the queue, and the fact that like during the ride they have a lot of like the actual like dinosaurs and all that, to where it kind of looks like you're like literally like right there like with them in a way. So I just like the little touches like that, or like just makes the ride better in a way for me, at least. So I like all like the little touches that they have kind of throughout.
Yeah, it's definitely set up nicely. The queue and everything. I love the stuff they have on the TVs displayed, because they bring back Mr. DNA from the original Jurassic Park. So he's kind of walking you through some of the do's and don'ts before you get on the ride. Then they have a big screen right before you get into the loading area that has Bryce Dallas Howard and Chris Pratt's characters from the Jurassic World movies. They kind of reprise their characters and, talk about essentially what's, about to happen. They kind of play it in like you're part of the movie almost. And that's kind of cool. I like when they do that with theme park rides. They kind of bring you into the world of, whether it's a movie, TV show, whatever it might be. I always like those little touches, kind of like you said. Um, but yeah, there's definitely some cool parts throughout the queue where you have like the raptors in their cages where you can see just their head and snout sticking out, and then they'll have moments where they actually breathe on you. It kind of caught me off guard because I thought they were just there for show. I didn't realize that they were set up to actually kind of interact with you a little bit, but pretty cool stuff. And then even throughout the ride itself, because it's kind of set up where when you get into the loading point and you're about to take off, they have screens on the sides of you, and there's raptors that take off running, and it's like you're running with the raptors. All that is set up pretty cool. They have some raptors throughout the ride that you cross paths with as you're going through the loops and everything like that. It's pretty neat to see. But yeah, this is one. As soon as they announced it, I was incredibly excited about it. So I'm glad I finally got the opportunity to ride it because, like I said, it's one of the best coasters I've ever been on. This is a intense ride. It getting
Mhm.
up to that 70 mile per hour speed. I mean, once you get launched into it like that, it's awesome. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like the Incredible Hulk coaster because with that
Yeah.
one, of course, you're starting out more on a lift hill with that one, where this one you're kind of
Yeah.
more on a level ground and then you just kind of take off. But it does remind me of that a little bit because it's kind of building you up to the moment, and then you just take off, and it's zero to I want to say 0 to 60 right off the bat. It might get up to 70 right off the bat. I don't know for sure, but it's pretty intense. I mean, what a great addition, not only to Islands of Adventure, but to the Jurassic Park / Jurassic World area. It's a great addition.
Yeah, because I feel like not much has really happened in like the Jurassic Park area, and so just like what you just said, like I feel like it's kind of like a nice little touch to add on to it, and if they choose to kind of add more with like the Jurassic World side, like I feel like that's kind of a good start. And I always like to joke that the VelociCoaster is kind of like the Hulk on steroids, basically, just because it's like in a way, just because it's like it's similar, but then it's like different and like in its own way.
Yeah, of course, the Hulk's kind of on steroids in and of himself, but
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
this is like taking it up even more of another notch. But yeah, I do. This is kind of the first thing they've really added that's a big deal to the Jurassic Park area. I mean, you have the Kong Skull Island ride, which I guess is technically part of the Jurassic Park section, but it's kind of its own
Oh
thing.
yeah.
So, Islands of Adventure's got to maybe kind of figure that out when it comes to their lands and everything, because now they have like three lands that all just kind of like blend together almost between
Yeah. Oh
Skull
yeah.
Island, Jurassic Park, and then they still have the Lost Continent for whatever reason. They need to ditch that or figure something out with that to add to it at the very least. But yeah, outside of the river adventure, and then they still have the little kid ride in the Camp Jurassic area. Yeah, there really hasn't been much else in this area. This actually replaced the Triceratops encounter, which was there for quite a while, probably longer than it should have been, because that was one of those things that
Mhm.
it's a cool idea, but when you actually see it, it's not all that entertaining. It's just a big animatronic dinosaur that's just kind of there, not really doing a whole lot.
Yeah, that's true.
you, you have somebody working there acting like it's a real thing, and it's kind of like, yeah, this is something, but it's not all that great. I would rather it have a real ride, and now with this replacement, I think they knocked it out of the park for sure.
I know. I actually almost forgot about like the that particular like little encounter thing that you could have. Although I've been wanting to do like the other like the new little encounter they have with
Yeah, with the
the
raptor.
yeah with the raptors. I don't know. couldn't think of the word, but yeah.
Yeah,
So
I wish we would have got the opportunity to do that, but unfortunately, we didn't have. Line was always a little too long, so
yeah, I feel like they kind of do that at like random times too, because there's been plenty of times where I've walked by and it's like either closed or and all that, but I'm just like, so I don't know if that's a like something that they do at specific times throughout the day either. So
yeah, it's possible. But maybe next time, get out there. Maybe we can check it out or something. But yeah, so I mean, like I said, with this ride, there's not much else to say other than how great it is. So, on a scale of 0 to 5, how many thrills would you give VelociCoaster?
Probably about 18. No,
Oh,
just
that's
probably
pretty high.
5. Yeah, it's definitely one of my top rides now, and it was kind of interesting to be able to do the express pass like line since I wasn't there the last time I rode it. So, but you still get to see pretty much like all the same things and like the queue and whatnot. So it's still kind of similar.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you. I think I got to go 5 out of 5 thrills on this one as well. This is just balls to the wall, like insane ride. This is, I just honestly, like after getting off of it, I couldn't get over how great of a ride this was. Everything from the setup to the queue and whatnot. It's all great. I kind of like that they even set it up where it's almost in its own little area. Like, yes, it's still part of the Jurassic Park section, but it's almost kind of off by itself. So it's kind of showcased a little bit better, and it being right there on where they have the big lake on Islands of Adventure, it's
Yeah,
all very nice to look at, very pretty, very nice lay of the land, if you will. So yeah, there's really not anything else I could say about this. It's fantastic. If you haven't had the opportunity to check it out, next time you go to Islands of Adventure, do yourself a favor, get in the line for this, whether it's express, whether it's the regular queue. Um, it's worth the wait, trust me. I mean, sure, if it's like a 2 hour wait, maybe wait till it goes down a little bit. We happened to catch, even though we did the express, I think we caught it when it was right at about an hour, which is honestly not too bad,
that's true.
all things considered. So it's well worth your time, and it's a full recommendation from us for sure.
Yeah, because it's definitely one of those rides where it's like I like even when it didn't have like the express line, like it's one of those rides that I don't mind waiting in the regular line for and all that. Like, because I know the first few times I like rode it, like I did wait a little longer than I usually would for like a ride, but it's definitely one of those rides that's like worth the wait. So I didn't really mind like the first few times and all that, but the good thing is like the line is kind of has gone down like a lot. I don't know if it has anything to do with like Hagrid's and whatnot, but like it's a little bit more manageable now that I've noticed like the last like few times that I've been.
I think that's going to do it from us here, guys. Be sure to look out next Monday for our next ride review. We're going to try to do them every Monday, subject to change, but for now, that's our goal, is to do a different ride review each Monday. I'll post our Twitter link down below on where you can follow us. Be sure to follow us, and maybe we'll throw out a little spoiler into what ride we're going to talk about next week. And yeah, subscribe to the channel for more of our reviews. Hopefully, soon we'll be able to make it out to a park or two, and we'll give you guys a nice tour and just an overview of whatever park we make it out to. And yeah, until next time, guys, we'll catch y'all later.
Peace.